Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Well, good Tuesday morning to you, the Daybreak Show. Good morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
Not much. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Had a good day yesterday. Came home to, it was one of those kind of everyone make their own dinner evenings, you know. And
oh yeah,
just everybody just nuke something or have leftovers. And I was lucky enough to get Sarah's leftover. We bought tortellini, and then she makes her incredible meat sauce. And it was so good. And everyone else was like nuking, you know, burritos. And I think they forgot we had it, so I indulged in that. So nice, quiet, peaceful evening. Yeah.
Tricky. That's nice. Today in the news, the latest on the COVID numbers for Mason County. Also, we have got more information on different industries that are starting to reopen, and dentists and doctors' offices are something we'll talk about today. Also, yesterday was the anniversary of Mount St. Helens, and coronavirus disrupted some plans there. Eric Tegedoff has a report for us, and there's an open community forum tonight in the Shelton School District.
I'll check the weather forecast for you, and an update from Relay for Life of Shelton on their plans for the great annual event, including a car parade at the end of this month.
And we've got a new radio feature we're going to start rolling out. We'll talk to you about that. And I saw this thing up at the Hub Center for Seniors in Belfair. They're reinvigorating pen pals. You remember pen pals, Spencer?
I had a pen pal forever. She lived in Indiana. And she was the niece of one of our neighbors back then. We actually met briefly. I think we were probably 12 years old, 11 years old when we did it. But yeah, pen pals seem to be a thing of the past. I'm glad they're bringing it back.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. All that and more coming up on this Tuesday morning. And good morning to you.
Mason County Public Health is reporting no change in cases of COVID-19 numbers in Mason County. According to their latest release, there are 8 active cases. The total since this began, 33 positive cases of COVID-19 in Mason County. As of the 15th, there have been 1,533 tests performed. Latest case demographics are 2 females, one in their 40s, one in their 50s. Mason County Public Health continuing contact interviews. To avoid exposure, continue to follow the guidance of washing hands frequently and thoroughly, stay home unless essential to work, and try to limit your travel to only medical appointments, medication pickups, and once every 2-week grocery shopping needs.
Dentists and doctors' offices can reopen immediately for non-urgent treatment if coronavirus safety protocols are in place, including adequate PPE for workers. Each medical or dental practice will determine whether they are ready to expand their access to patients, and they will have to implement policies including limiting the number of people in waiting rooms and conducting temperature checks. Each facility also must develop a plan that allows for a possible reduction of services if there is an increase in COVID-19 in its region and puts a strain on the health care systems. Well, how do you vote by mail in Washington if you don't have an address? Eric Tegedoff looks into this.
How do you vote by mail in Washington if you don't have an address? People who are homeless have some options to get their ballots counted in the Evergreen State. Hillary Coleman with Seattle-King County Coalition on Homelessness says it's important to understand there is a difference between a mailing address and a residential address, and that folks can use their mailing address to register to vote.
Most people might have somewhere where they get checks, for example, if they're on Social Security, or somewhere where a loved one might send them a piece of mail, and so we talk about using that address to register.
Coleman says a person can register to vote using any address, including an intersection near where they're staying or a shelter, even if they don't get mail there. She says some people get their mail through case managers or low-barrier options, like the Compass Center Day Services in downtown Seattle. Part of Seattle-King County Coalition on Homelessness's education work involves going out to day centers, meal programs, or organized tent cities, places where people who are unsheltered are likely to be during the day. Coleman says one important law to know about is the Voting Rights Restoration Act. Passed in 2008, it ensures that anyone with a felony can vote once they're done reporting to the Department of Corrections.
A lot of people still don't know about that, and when we get someone saying they can't vote, that's the most common reason why someone might think they can't vote.
Coleman adds that they have volunteers who have experienced homelessness helping with voter engagement.
I think they're some of the greatest messengers to talk about voting because they will talk about what it felt like the first time that someone voted and how it did feel empowering to fill in that ballot and have a say in society.
In past elections, Washington State has had in-person voting centers, but COVID-19 could limit their availability. Support for this reporting was provided by the Carnegie Corporation of New York. For Washington News Service, I'm Eric Tegedoff.
Thank you, Eric. The coronavirus outbreak disrupted what had been big plans to mark the 40th anniversary of the eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington State. The peak in the Cascade Mountain Range blew its top on May 18th, 1980, killing 57 people, blasting more than 1,300 feet off the top of the mountain and raining volcanic ash around for hundreds of miles. But there will be no public observances at the volcano. Oregon Public Broadcasting reports the main highway into the National Volcanic Monument is closed due to COVID-19, and the multiple visitor centers and museums that had planned remembrances also shuttered.
Have you been there yet?
No, I have not, but I remember I was 9 years old when that happened, and I remember just watching it on the news and everything, and it was terrifying even from, 1,000 miles away. I can't even imagine what it was like being here in the state.
So you were 9. I was about 9 months, and obviously I don't remember hardly any of it. We were in Lacey, and there was always a story that we had this little gray metal garbage can that was filled with ash, and the story was, and I never knew, and I still don't to this day know if it was true, but I had always been told that was filled with Mount St. Helens ash from the day that landed at the house that I grew up in Lacey. Now, I don't know if that's a true story or not, but it was a good story at least. And remember, what they talked about when that happened is that they tracked the particulates, the fine particulates, all the way around the Earth.
Wow.
Back to the U.S. I mean, it took a very long time for the jet stream and all that stuff, but I do remember that. The visitor center up there, it's been a long time since I've been up there, and obviously now because of all this, it's probably not going to be open for a little while, but it is beautiful, and on a sunny day, I mean, it's just amazing how far you can see, and just imagining the epic destruction from that explosion. It's pretty cool.
Just the power of nature, I'm telling you. Incredible.
Community members and staff invited to talk with Superintendent Alex Apostle in the Shelton School District, joined with school principals and cabinet members to hear the latest happenings in the Shelton School District tonight in an open community forum, streamed live via YouTube from 6 to 7. Again, today on the show, Gerry Apple from Relay for Life of Shelton talks about the plans upcoming for Relay for Life, including a car parade at the end of this month, and a couple other fun things to discuss with you and Spencer. It's all coming up here on Daybreak. Good morning to you.
From the I-501 News Radio Studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. On the phone line, Gerry Apple. We're talking Relay for Life. Good morning, Gerry.
Good morning, Jeff.
Nice to talk with you. I hope you and everybody is well and healthy and have been safe during all this. Obviously, coronavirus has caused a lot of events in our community that we've come to love and know dearly to kind of rearrange and postpone and change, and that's why we're talking today. Relay for Life of Shelton, you're telling me, is going on, but it's going to be moved to September, end of September. Is that right?
Yeah, September the 26th. It's a Saturday. It'll be from 11 to 11, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and it'll be down at Neyland Park again. We're trying to get sponsors, and we're trying to get teams to be in it. As we know, we hope this happens. We don't know. We don't even know about the opening of school next year, how that's going to look. So keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully things get much better, and we can safely go back to some type of normal.
One of the ways that we see Relay for Life throughout the community during the year are the different parades and the different events that you guys are out and about with your flyers and pieces of information. And with those being postponed or canceled, it's hard to remind folks about what's going on. But Relay for Life of Shelton's having a car parade on Saturday, May 30th.
That is correct. And I believe it's going to be around noon. I know that we're going to meet down at Peninsula Credit Union at 11 o'clock and get ready. And we're hoping to not only get a bunch of cars, old cars, hopefully, and people's trucks. I'll bring my truck. But we hope to get the fire department, the police involved, and so that people know what we're trying to do. And we don't want to alarm them by making a lot of noise, but at the same time, we want to publicize this event and let them know that we are still trying to find ways to find a cure for cancer. So, we're going to go to different communities in Shelton, and so...
Well, that'll be a lot of fun.
It will be, yeah. It should be a lot of fun, and hopefully people will realize that we're having fun and we're trying to let people know that about the event and give them some information. And it's not a protest type of thing, but it's a parade and having fun, and hopefully we'll get some people out there cheering us on, and we'll hopefully get it promoted that we're going to do it so we don't alarm anybody. Publicizing it through the radio and things like that.
So, again, meeting at Peninsula Credit Union, downtown Shelton. Now, Peninsula's address is Railroad, but their parking lot is, the entrance to the parking lot's on Coda. So 11:30 or so, folks can gather there and start heading around the community. Always relayforlife.org/SheltonWA has good information on the website. You guys are doing a lot to help stomp out cancer here. A roaring good time is what we're looking to on the 26th of September. I sure hope that all works out at everything at Neyland Park. That is a lot later than we've normally had Relay for Life, but obviously nowadays we've got to make those accommodations. Yeah,
we're moving it from June to September. So but I know that we're excited about doing that, and we're having our meetings by way of Zoom. And we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we're trying to stir up a lot of interest.
Good. Yeah. Well, we'll continue to remind folks the Shelton Relay for Life Car Parade is Saturday, May 30th, 11:30 a.m. at Peninsula Credit Union. You can park in their lot on Coda. relayforlife.org/SheltonWA. And Relay is planning on coming back here September 26th at Neyland Park. So we'll get more information on that as we get closer. Gerry, it's good to talk with you. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you, Jeff.
Gerry Apple, Relay for Life. Good to talk with you, bud, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Hey, thank you. And thanks for calling me back and letting me be on.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
And again, good Tuesday morning to you as the Daybreak Show rolls on here. Spencer, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you.
Seniors, of course, got a raw end of the deal here this year. Seniors class of 2020, as we are about a month or so away from the technical end of school. And I don't know if you remember when you were a senior, it was a long time ago, but if they had, there was a lot of things that really marked your closure of primary education. You're done with school. You've been there for 12, 13 years, 15 years. I mean, in your case, being held back so many times that the people are just pining to get out of school. And now that the, coronavirus, people have had to come up with some pretty unique ways to honor our seniors. You've seen some of the photos of the big banners all around town?
Yes, I have. I've seen them around in front of people's houses, on the front porches. It's really nice to see that. They're really nicely done, too.
Well, I guess it's not just around town. It's the whole county. North Mason, Choice, Shelton, all the schools are celebrating their seniors. We interviewed Don Myers a couple of weeks ago. Those big, great posters all up along Oakland Bay, right there on Wallace Neyland. So we came up with something that we're going to kind of debut here right now, and we're going to call it the Senior Shoutout Hotline.
Oh, good.
So here's the deal. Yeah, we're going to call in on the communication listener line at 360-426-1030, and then press 0.
Okay.
And that'll get you into the listener line where you can leave a senior shout out. This is what we're calling it. So basically, you call up, beep, up, 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 beep, up, up. You hear the message, and you go, I just want to give a shout out to my boy Johnny, who's graduating from Shelton this year. We love you, son. You've done a lot of great work, and we're really proud of you. Anyways, congratulations to Johnny and all the seniors of 2020.
That's nice.
So
that's
the
good.
message. And then, and then we'll piece it together, and we'll air these on the air as often as we get them.
That's great. I hope people load up that line because it's nice for the kids to hear this. We have a senior in high school in California, and he's bummed. They understand though. These kids are mature, and as hard as it is, they're kind of understanding why it has to be this way. But it's still tough. I mean, they've been looking forward to this for a long, long time.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be Shelton. It doesn't have to be Mason County. It can be anywhere that you hear the show and you want to call in and give your senior a shout-out on our Senior Shoutout Hotline at 360-426-1030. Then press 0, record your message. We will use your voice on the air, but it's for a great shout-out to your senior, and then we'll hopefully get a whole bunch of these and hear all the senior shout-outs.
That's fantastic. Great idea.
So you can call in and leave your message on the Senior Shoutout Hotline now, and more Daybreak on the way.
From the iFiber One News Radio Studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, as the Daybreak Show rolls on this Tuesday morning, Spencer, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you.
Obviously, we talk for a profession, and one of the things that may get lost in the weeds is handwriting. We don't do a lot of writing, and if we do, it's chicken scratch and phonetic spelling that, who knows, maybe even a doctor would have a hard time understanding.
Most young people don't even have a signature. It's very sad when you see just this scribble.
That's a good point.
They don't have one. Everyone looks the same. They just kind of write a line. I don't know where that came from, but it's almost like they can't sign the name, so they just kind of do a scribble. But anyway, they say that's bad for like security purposes because then anyone can forge that kind of a signature. You have to have a unique signature. But you're right; it's kind of a dying thing.
And one of the things that we have been not the best at when it comes to Kaiser's schooling here at home is his handwriting and penmanship. He wrote a letter to the boys across the street, and so we're working on it. But even Steph and I, we don't write a lot anyways. So I was on Facebook this morning, as I often am, and I saw that up at the Hub Center in Belfair, they are trying something new here. They're creating a pen pal program, pairing seniors with youth in the community to reach across generations and form informal partnerships. It can be email or snail mail, but
great.
The Hub is doing this. This is kind of a neat one.
It really is. Boy, that's something that a lot, if you ask kids today about pen pals, I bet a lot of them don't really know it. It's all been kind of replaced by Snapchat, hasn't it, and apps and things, but the pen pal thing always intrigued me as a kid back in the Stone Age before we had cell phones and before we had all this stuff. And I had a pen pal. I must have been 11 or 12, and she was in Indiana. Isn't it weird? I still remember Elkhart, Indiana. Somehow that just came to me just a second. And we met only once. She was like the niece of one of the neighbors, and she actually came out, and we met one day with the families and stuff. And it was just kind of neat. And it's something I thought I would have kept. I don't know whatever happened to those letters, but I know we wrote to each other for a long time.
Do you remember when you met, what it was like?
It was fun. I mean, we were kids, so it was there wasn't kind of that awkwardness of maybe people who get into romantic, pen pals and things like that. This one obviously is a platonic friendship-based one, but I remember it was kind of neat. And you got to remember, this is before Facebook and MySpace and all this stuff. So there wasn't like social networking. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, I saw your fishing trip, on Facebook this morning. And you really only communicated. We never talked on the phone. We didn't really send pictures except the initial one. So it was all just the writing. So it was pretty fun. It was pretty exciting.
Do you how long were you pen pals, and what do you remember the average amount of time between letters?
Oh boy, I don't remember that. I'd say maybe
I'm busting you on this one.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
I'm making you go with that.
I think it was maybe about a year. And I remember the letters were like a page, handwritten and stuff. And I do remember specifically handwriting on them. It wasn't like they were typed. Back then it would have been on a typewriter, I guess, or a word processor. But yeah, they were handwritten. I remember that. And there's something about that, too. I know that they say you can email, too. I like the snail mail idea. I like the idea of opening up a letter in all the junk mail we usually get day to day and seeing something actually written for us and handwritten by another human being. That's kind of cool. But the email, obviously, especially for the younger
very
people,
rare.
It's more convenient.
Yeah. We check the mail here, and when you become an adult, hardly ever. I mean, it's all bills and junk mail.
Yeah.
But I can imagine how nice it would be to open up and see a letter again. So if you're interested in looking into this, you can go to the Hub Belfair Facebook page, or you can call the Hub at 360-275-0535 for a pen pal packet. Program's going to run now through September. Pretty cool idea.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great way to connect
seniors
people.
and youth communicating, and I think this might be a good way for Kaiser to work on his penmanship too.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. This is good. I hope I hope this brings back pen pals. It's kind of a universal thing that and that's the thing with pen pals. You can have pen pals from all over the world. This is going to make me want to research it now to see if there's any World Wide Web based pen pal things. I'm sure there are with people across cultures and ages and all sorts of fun stuff.
Cool thing to do. We've got a little extra time and, maybe some... Hey, and plus, too, if you buy stamps, helps out the post office.
Hey, yeah. Snail mail.
Just thought about that. More Daybreak Show coming up.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber1 News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.